Lately, it feels like your life split into two. There's the version everyone sees, the posts, the polite replies, the "I'm good, just busy." And then there's the version only you and God know about. The version where your phone is quiet, the group chat is dry, the invites stopped. You scroll and see their stories. Same faces, same jokes, same places you used to be in. Except your name is missing now. You look at those pictures a little too long. Your stomach tightens. Your mind starts searching for reasons. Did I change? Did I say something wrong? Was I not fun enough? Did I become too spiritual, too serious, too much? Some days you feel like you're too much, too deep, too emotional, too intense. Other days you feel like you're not enough, not easy enough, not exciting enough, not whatever they want enough. You stare at your phone and every empty notification bar feels like a sentence. Nobody cares. Nobody needs you. Nobody is thinking about you. You replay old memories like a movie. The late night calls, the inside jokes, the random drives, the times you showed up for others without even thinking. You remember how quickly you'd answer their messages, how you'd drop what you were doing to listen, to comfort, to help. Now you're the one who could use a call, a message, a little "are you okay?" But the phone stays still. You feel lonely. Not just "I'm by myself" lonely, but that deep kind of lonely where you can't shake the thought, "No one really sees me." You feel rejected, not always on the outside, but in your soul. You feel forgotten, like you were a season in everyone else's story, but no one stayed for your seasons. You feel invisible, like you could disappear and life would go on just the same. You sit in rooms with people and your body is there, but your heart feels miles away. You laugh at the right moments. You nod at the right times. You play the role you've always played. But after, you walk away feeling drained, misunderstood, out of place. You've started noticing little things you used to ignore. The way you're always the one to initiate. The way your news doesn't get the same excitement. The way your pain gets brushed aside or compared or minimized. You've cried about it, quietly. In the shower where no one can hear. In your bed at night when the house is still. On the inside while you kept moving on the outside. A part of you is tired of hoping, tired of trying, tired of carrying friendships that feel heavier than they should. You wonder, why is everyone fading at once? Why does it feel like I'm being stripped of every connection I thought was solid? It almost feels personal, like life singled you out to be the one left behind. But what if it wasn't life? What if this strange loneliness, this painful separation, this slow drift, is not an accident and not a punishment? What if this is what it feels like when God is separating you from people who are not your people? What if the closed doors, the unanswered texts, the drifting conversations are actually divine protection for your heart, your mind, your destiny? What if this season, where you feel pushed out, is actually God pulling you out of places that cannot hold who you are becoming? Right now, it looks like loss. It feels like rejection. It sounds like silence. But underneath all of it, He might be whispering, "They are not your people. I see what you can't see. I hear what you don't hear. I know where their road ends and yours begins. Stay here with me." Because this word is for the you who feels abandoned, and yet somehow knows deep down, something holy is happening in this separation, even if I don't understand it yet. This is what it looks like when God is separating you from people who are not your people. This hidden season does not feel holy. It feels lonely. It feels confusing. It feels like too much. So before we go deeper, pause with me for just a few breaths. Inhale gently. Hold. Exhale slowly. Again. In. Hold. Out. Let your shoulders relax. Let your jaw unclench. Let your heart know it is safe right now. You don't need to pretend you're okay. You don't need to minimize your pain. You are allowed to say, "God, I'm tired. God, I'm hurting. God, I don't understand why everyone leaving. You've poured into people. You've listened. You've stayed loyal. You've kept secrets. You've shown up even when no one showed up for you. And now it feels unfair that in your moment of need, you are walking through this silent, lonely space. I want you to hear this clearly. This is a safe space for your confusion and your questions. It is okay if part of you believes God is separating you for divine protection and another part feels abandoned. Both parts of you are welcome here. As you listen, your emotions don't have to disappear. Your questions don't have to be solved in one video. All I ask is that you stay open to one possibility, that this isolation is not proof that you are unlovable, but evidence that you are set apart, that the distance from people is not rejection, but redirection, that the quiet is not empty, but filled with God's presence if you lean in. If any part of you feels like these words are touching a real place in your soul, you can tell God quietly, I'm listening. I'm tired, but I'm listening. You don't have to strive. You don't have to fix everything while you watch. Just breathe, listen, and let your spirit receive what it needs. Because we're about to walk through what you've been feeling, why it's happening, and what it means that they are not your people, and that you are still deeply loved by the one who never leaves. You've been living in a quiet internal isolation. Not everyone knows because you're good at functioning. You get up, you go to work, you show up, you reply when needed, you smile when required. But underneath all of that, you feel lonely. The kind of lonely where you feel like you could scream and nobody would hear the real sound. You feel rejected in small, daily ways. The way they forget to include you. The way your ideas get overlooked. The way your presence goes unacknowledged. It's not always big moments. Sometimes it's tiny cuts, over and over, that make your heart tired. You feel forgotten, like the friend everyone knows they can call in a crisis, but rarely thinks about when they're celebrating. Like the person who remembers everyone's seasons, but whose own seasons go unnoticed. You feel invisible. In conversations, you get talked over. Your words don't land. Your thoughts feel like they float in the air and disappear. People say, you're so strong, you're so understanding, you're so chill. But they don't see that you're strong because you haven't had another option. They don't see that you're understanding because you've always had to be the one absorbing the pain. They don't see that your calm is sometimes just numbness from carrying too much. You feel misunderstood. When you try to express your heart, you're told you're overreacting. When you quietly pull back, you're labeled distant. You've become the reliable one, the available one, the healing one for everyone else. But when it's your turn to be fragile, you feel like a burden. You've noticed your body is tired too. You feel drained after certain conversations. Your chest feels tight walking into certain rooms. Your spirit feels small in certain company. The more you grow inside, the more uncomfortable you feel in the old places. You're starting to see the difference between people who feed your spirit and people who drain it. The ones who truly see you versus the ones who just use you. And it's painful because some of those people you genuinely love. Some of them share old memories, inside jokes, history. Part of you wants to keep them no matter what. Another part of you knows you cannot keep losing yourself to keep them. You struggle in the tension. You say things like, he'll give it one more chance. Maybe it's just a phase. Maybe it's me. So you shrink yourself again. You make yourself smaller so they don't feel uncomfortable. You hide your hunger for God so you don't seem too deep. You listen to things that disturb your spirit because you don't want to be that person. Then you go home and feel spiritually dirty, emotionally exhausted, mentally scattered. You lie awake and ask God, why does this feel so wrong when they haven't done anything that bad? Why does my soul react like this? You've even tried to go backward, tried to force yourself to fit the old version of you, tried to enjoy what you used to enjoy, laugh at what you used to laugh at. But something in you just can't go back. Your spirit has changed. Your appetite has changed. Your capacity for pretending has changed. And yet, being in the middle yet see your new circle either, so it feels like you are floating in between, unanchored, isolated. You've thought, maybe I'm just destined to be alone. Maybe I'm just the kind of person people leave. But what if this in-between is not abandonment, but transition? What if this ache is not proof that you're broken, but proof that you're shifting? What if this loneliness is the doorway to a completely different way of being connected with God, with yourself, and eventually, with people who are actually your people? Now we step into the why. Not the why that blames you, and not the why that attacks them, but the why that reveals what God is doing. When God is separating you from people who are not your people, it can look and feel like rejection, confusion, and loss. But underneath, it is divine protection, divine redirection, divine preparation. Let's walk through some signs and meanings, slowly. 1. Your peace leaves before they do. Before they ever stopped calling, before the invitation slowed down, before the energy changed, your peace started leaving. You noticed you felt tense around them. You overthought every interaction. You felt like you were always on edge, on guard, on trial. You might not have had words for it, but your spirit knew. Something is off here. God often lets your peace leave a place, a group, a connection, before he actually removes it. It's his way of telling you, don't build your home here. You're passing through, not planting roots. Your peace is a compass. When it keeps pointing away from certain circles, pay attention. That is not random. That is protection. 2. They are comfortable with the version of you that doesn't grow. When you try to talk about healing, they change the subject. When you talk about wanting boundaries, they roll their eyes. When you mention that you're trying to choose peace, they call you boring or distant or different now. They want the old you, the one who would entertain anything, the one who laughed at everything, the one who said yes to everyone. But the old you was hurting. The old you didn't have boundaries. The old you thought love meant carrying other people's chaos even when it was killing your own peace. God will not let you stay tethered to people who only love your unhealthy self. He is committed to the healed version of you. And if someone is only comfortable with your brokenness, not your growth, they are not your people for this next season. 3. You have to betray yourself to belong. Around certain people, you notice you act like someone else. You laugh at things that don't sit right with your spirit. You stay silent when something inside you is screaming, this is not okay. You pretend you're okay with being disrespected. You pretend you don't care when they make light of what matters to you. You leave feeling fake, small, out of alignment. Every time you betray yourself to keep a seat at their table, you step away from the table God prepared for you. When God is separating you from people, he will make it harder and harder for you to ignore this. You'll feel it in your body. You'll feel it in your spirit. You'll feel it in your sleep. You are set apart. You are called. You are marked. Your soul can't afford to keep folding just to fit. 4. Your spirit wakes up while your circle stays asleep. You start craving God more. You start wanting quiet. You start journaling, reading, praying more honestly. You think more intentionally. You reflect on your patterns. You notice what brings life versus what drains it. Meanwhile, your circle still wants the same conversations, the same jokes, the same gossip, the same comfort zones. Your hunger and their hunger no longer match. God will let this mismatch grow so you stop trying to dim your light to match their darkness or even their lukewarmness. It's not that you're better, it's that you're being awakened. And when you're awakened, the old rhythm no longer fits. 5. God keeps blocking what you keep trying to resurrect. You send the text and they never reply. You try to plan something and it keeps getting cancelled. You apologize repeatedly just to keep the connection, even when you know you didn't do anything wrong. You try to talk it through and feel like you're talking to a wall. You might even feel like heaven is silent when you pray, God, just fix this friendship. Make it like it used to be. But what if God is ignoring that specific request because he loves you too much to take you backwards? What if every unanswered message, every closed door, every failed attempt is God's gentle way of saying, stop resurrecting what I lovingly allowed to die? He is not being cruel. He is being protective. You asked him to protect you. You asked him to remove what's not from him. He heard you, and now He's doing it. 6. You see red flags too clearly now to pretend they're not there. You notice patterns, how they become distant when you have needs, how they become extra present when they need favors, how your vulnerability gets turned into a joke, how your pain gets brushed aside. You remember moments where you ignored your gut, where you made excuses for their behavior. This time, it hits different. You can't unsee it. You can't unknow it. God is not exposing them to make you bitter. He is exposing patterns so you can choose better. He is saying, daughter, son, you are worth more than this. You don't have to demonize them. You don't have to hate them. You just have to accept that they are not your people for this next stretch of the journey. 7. You feel an odd mixture of grief and relief. When you finally let go, or they finally drift away, you cry. You feel the loss. You miss the memories. You miss the ease of having your people, even if they weren't really for you. But if you're honest, under the sadness is another feeling. Relief. You feel lighter. You feel calmer. You feel less anxious, less on edge, less over-responsible. Part of you is healing even as another part is grieving. That quiet relief is a clue. Your soul is saying, thank you for the distance. It hurts. But it also feels like protection. 8. You are being pulled into a deeper relationship with God. Your circle got smaller. Your nights got quieter. Your schedule opened up in ways you didn't ask for. And suddenly, you have space you didn't have before. Space to feel, space to think, space to be honest, space to sit with God. You find yourself talking to Him more, being real with Him. You tell Him you're lonely. You tell Him you're angry. You tell Him you don't understand. And instead of judgment, you sense a quiet presence. You start to recognize that the one who allowed people to walk away never walked away himself. In fact, He is closer now than ever. When God separates you from people who are not your people, He is not leaving you empty. He is making room for Himself and for those who are truly sent. Now we turn from the pain and the signs to your identity, because the most dangerous lie in a season like this is that you are unwanted. You are not unwanted. You are chosen. You are not abandoned. You are set apart. You are not forgotten. You are hidden in God's protection. When God is separating you from people who are not your people, He is not saying you are hard to love. He is saying you are too precious to be mishandled. You are a chosen one, a set apart one, part of a remnant that doesn't fit in every crowd. There is an anointing on your life. You may not feel it, but it's there. It's in your sensitivity. It's in your compassion. It's in your hunger for something real. It's in the way you cannot settle for shallow conversations and shallow living anymore. This separation is not God pushing you down. It's God pulling you up from cycles that kept you stuck, pulling you up from environments that normalized chaos, pulling you up from relationships that survived because you kept minimizing your needs. In this hidden season, He is resetting your standards. You are learning that love is not measured by how much pain you tolerate. You are learning that being nice at the expense of your own soul is not holy. You are learning that your time, your energy, your vulnerability are sacred. He is healing you, healing the child in you who felt left out, healing the teenager in you who felt like the extra one, healing the adult in you who kept reenacting those same patterns with new faces. He is telling that part of you, you are not hard to stay with. They just weren't built to go where I'm taking you. You are not unworthy of deep love. You just kept giving deep loyalty to shallow soil. You are not invisible. I have seen every tear. I have heard every quiet upset you never felt safe to say out loud. He is teaching you boundaries. You can be loving and still say no. You can be kind and still step away from what is harming your peace. You can be full of grace and still discern who gets access to your most vulnerable places. Being set apart means not every phone gets answered. Not every invitation gets accepted. Not every friend gets full access to your heart. God is also preparing your future circle. You may not see them yet, but He is doing the same work in others that He is doing in you. He is healing people who will one day walk beside you. People who will pray with you. not just gossip with you. People who will ask, "How is your soul?" and actually listen for the answer. People who will celebrate your growth instead of feeling threatened by it. People who will be honest enough to correct you when needed, but gentle enough to hold your heart with care. These will be your people. Until then, this isolation is not empty space. It is holy ground. The place where you learn to hear God's voice louder than everyone else's. The place where you learn to enjoy your own company in His presence, so you never again settle for company that makes you feel alone. The place where you realize being alone with God is not the same as being abandoned. He is rewiring the way you see yourself, from rejected to protected, from left out to set apart, from overlooked to intentionally hidden. He is marking you for rooms you haven't entered yet, for assignments you haven't seen yet, for connections that will feel like home, not like a test you have to keep passing. When God is separating you from people who are not your people, He is aligning you with the truth that you never belonged to them in the first place. You belong to Him, and the ones He sends will recognize that. So what now? In this season, you do not have to chase what's walking away. You do not have to cling to doors God Himself is gently closing. You do not have to convince anyone to see your worth. You can surrender. Softly, God, I release who you are removing. I release my need to understand every ending. I release my grip on what I thought would last forever. Protect my heart. Guard my spirit. Align my circle with my calling. Take a slow breath. In, hold, out. Let your soul unwind even a little. When the ache rises again, when you see them laughing without you, when you pass by places that trigger memories, remember this. You are not cursed. You are not a mistake. You are not too much or not enough. You are chosen. You are set apart. You are being divinely, intentionally protected. Let God close the doors, Hess closing. Let Him protect you from rooms that would distort your identity. Let Him protect you from conversations that would poison your peace. Let Him protect you from circles that secretly resent who you are becoming. You don't have to see the full picture yet. Your job is not to understand everything. Your job is to stay available to what He is doing inside you. If this word hits your spirit, if you feel like I've been describing your season, I want you to mark it in agreement. In the comments, type, "Not my people," or "I receive it." Not as superstition, but as a gentle yes to God's protection. As a declaration over your life, I will not chase what God is removing. I will not fight for what drains my soul. I will trust that if they are not my people, God will bring my people in His time. Come back to this on the days it hurts most, when the silence feels loud, when the room feels empty. Let these words remind you, you are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are in a hidden season. You are in a holy separation. You are under divine protection. You are a chosen one. You are set apart. You are not alone. You are just being set apart.